Hello viewers. In today's video, we are going to explore a very interesting aspect of branding, your brand's gender. Okay, so the session is titled as "Does Your Brand's Gender Matter?" Now, how this idea or this concept came into my mind was when I was doing some reading, and I was reading an article with an interesting title: "Is Nestle a Lady? A Feminine Brand Name Advantage?" It was published in one of the premier journals, the marketing journals in the world, which is Journal of Marketing. So this is a interesting research done on brand name linguistics, which is of very much interest to all the marketeers, because brand name, as we all know, is the most visible brand element, and this is the brand element that all of us use to recognize and even ask for it in a retail outlet. And this is the most primary element of a brand. But the studies on this brand name is very much limited, or very less. And this is a very good article which talks about different aspects of the brand name. So we are going to talk about brand name linguistics, and whether the brand name is feminine or masculine, does it affect certain brand outcomes? So let us talk about brand name linguistics as such. So uh, the question comes whether the brand is male or female, and we all know that brands or the products, they are not human, so you cannot attribute this gender into a brand. That is a logical part, but we all uh, put certain human characteristics into brand, which is otherwise known as anthropomorphism. We project certain human characteristics into a non-living entity like a brand or a product. So in that sense, when you are putting a brand name, there is a tendency for the consumers to categorize the brand names as female brand names and male brand names. Uh, and when we are taking brand names, it is also possible that the brand owners will deliberately put the name as a female name or a masculine name. That is the choice which the marketeer has to will take. But what happens is that because of product proliferation, numerous products coming into existence, there is a limit to which you can put realistic name into brand. So what happens is that marketers invent brand names, which is totally different from the existing collection of names. So you put certain alphabets and you coin a name which essentially will be gender neutral. That is usually what marketers think about it. But according to brand name linguistics, how the brand name is created, what is the how the name sounds, how it ends, what is the length of that brand name, whether it is how each syllables are being stressed when we are pronouncing that, all will create a certain perception in the mind of the consumer as to whether that brand name is feminine or masculine. So it is called as linguistic markers, and there are a lot of researches which talk about three major linguistic marker which helps a customer to perceive a brand name to be masculine or feminine. Those are name length, sounds, and stress. There are certain research which says that usually feminine names are longer, which has more syllables, and more than one syllables are stressed when the name is being pronounced. And masculine names often end in consonants. So these kind of researches are there, but essentially, what the insight that article gives is that you have to be very careful when you are putting your brand name. Now, why is that? uh, when a consumer perceives a brand name to be feminine or a masculine, there is a chance that the consumer will also attribute certain feminine or masculine characteristics into the brand. So the product probably will be neutral in terms of gender, but if the brand name is perceived to be feminine, the consumer may attach certain feminine qualities into the brand, which will ultimately which will have an influence on the brand outcomes. Okay, so when you're naming a product, be very careful about how it sounds, whether it is sounding feminine or masculine. And the research says that feminine brands evoke a warm feeling, and this warm feeling will be very much influencing certain key brand outcomes such as attitude and preferences, especially for brands which uh, or products which are in the field of hedonic product category, where there is a lot of emotions attached to it. It's not utilitarian. The opposite of hedonic product is utilitarian products, which has more functional value, while hedonic products have more emotional and affective value. So it is said that feminine brand names evoke those warm feeling, and that will help the brand to achieve brand outcomes like favorable brand attitudes and preferences more in hedonic product category. So that's a very good insight for marketers, especially when you're launching a new brand into a market. You have to check whether the brand is sounding feminine or masculine, and you have to match that with the product category. And it is said that if you're selling a hedonic product category, it always makes sense to use a feminine brand. And with regard to product performance, the researchers have did a lot of studies using Interbrands global top brands, and they found that feminine sounding brands actually perform more in terms of brand share and or market share, and they come on top of their categories. And that is what the researchers are trying to say through the article. So it's a very insightful work, and I hope that this small uh, I would say that review of that article have given you some insights. At least we have to appreciate the linguistic aspect of a brand name, especially when you are inventing a brand name and we think that it is a neutral brand, but the consumer may project or perceive that to be a masculine or feminine brand. So thank you so much for watching. So if you found anything interesting in the lecture, please do like and subscribe so that you will get more informative uh, videos in future. Thank you.